Show. I'm your host, the one and truly, the one-man show, Don Vito. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? What's good? What's up? Happy what it is? Happy Tuesday. Tuesday is all good. Every day we wake up, it's all good. So we have another amazing guest coming on the show. You know, you're going to like this woman. She's an asset to the community. She goes by the name of Pache, and they call her Coach Pache. And this woman is all about teaching, inspiring, and giving back to our community. And, you know, the last couple of weeks, I just been focused on stuff that's like positive for the community, you know, inspirational. It's all about teaching. It's all about helping, happy stuff. You know, not the street stuff right now. Not the stories that y'all want to hear that, you know, have you like on the edge of your seats. But this stuff where, you know, people just doing things out here to, you know, keep themselves motivated, keep themselves strong, and also just, you know, keeping hope alive. So we got my girl, C. Madison. Okay, what's up, C? It's about time you pull up on your brother. It's about time. What's up? Good to see you. Love. You know, we got love here. But like I say, we got Coach Pache coming on the show, and we're going to talk about her journey, in, you know, to what she's doing today. And I think you're going to get some good information out of her and hear about all the amazing things she got going on. So she just pulled up right now to the Vibing with Don Vito show. Once again, I thank y'all for tuning in. She's here. She's live and direct, and we're going to talk about it. So we about, all right? Thank y'all for tuning in. Sierra, what's up, my girl? Miss you. Nice to see you. Hey, what's up, lady?
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, God is good all the time. I'm good.
Absolutely. Good. Glad to hear you're doing well.
Absolutely.
So what you been up?
Start with prayer. You start with waking up.
Absolutely.
And then you move.
There you go.
Perfect
Perfect
order.
order.
The remotes and the Netflix and all that.
Right.
The PS5.
It's the opener of the eyes. Thank you, Lord.
You look great, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look great. So, how you been? I haven't seen you in quite a while.
I'm doing good. I mean, any day we wake up in this climate that we're in is a blessing. So I really can't complain. I did have 3 deaths within a month, but
in a month,
I still have, yeah. And I mean immediate. But within that, I stand on foundation. You know, God is good.
All the time.
And I still have some family and friends that are waking up. So despite that, there's a...
So you're staying strong?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Tell everybody your name, where you're from, stuff like that.
Okay, so my government name is Pache Felton. Pretty much everybody knows me by Coco. I was born and raised in Harlem in King Towers Projects. I currently reside somewhere else now. I'm not going to give out my address, but I currently now. But I mean, it's good. I still come back to the neighborhood because that's where my heart is. That's where my passion is. To come back to the neighborhood and give people an opportunity, a young adult's opportunities that wasn't afforded to me.
So how was life growing up as a young girl in Harlem?
I didn't have a bad childhood. I was pretty fortunate to be raised by a strong, independent woman. And my father wasn't there. Well, you know, and well, listeners doesn't know, my father was murdered the day that I was born. So at that point, I was at a disadvantage as far as learning how to interact with men and that whole thing. So Watley High School, junior high school, which really wasn't a good high school. From Watley, I went to Park West High School, which was even worse. And it's funny because even in junior high school, my class was so bad, I had a teacher tell us that we weren't going to grow up to be ish.
Wow.
So, if I didn't have a strong foundation and people behind me, you know, that could have affected me mentally. However, when I got to the 10th grade, it was pretty much a party for me. I went from one party to party, and I did drop out in the 10th grade. However, today, currently, I have a BA in Psych, a
Uh-huh.
MS in Organization, a MA in Curriculum Instruction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an author, a coach, an empowerment specialist, a mentor, and a project leader.
Wow. So that's the same teacher that told you wasn't gonna be ish. Same one.
What you said?
That came the same teacher that said you wasn't gonna be ish. Now look at you.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, I something in me, but you know, growing up in Harlem, you vibe with your friends, you go, you party, you do your own thing. However, that foundation is placed inside of you, you always come back to your roots. So
Right.
you can deter, but you always come back to the foundation, your
Right.
morals and values, what you were taught.
So you say you grew up in King Towers over there.
Yes, 115th and Lenox.
So you must have seen some things over there.
A lot of things.
Right. So what made you stay strong and not get influenced by the things that was going on around you?
I mean, I party, and again, it goes back to having that foundation, your morals and values, and what you were taught. Not saying that I was the perfect kid growing up or the perfect teenager, because as you know, life is a journey. However, it's what do you take with the bad? How do you navigate that and turn it into something else?
Mm-hmm.
I can say the point for me was when I had my daughter.
And what age was that?
19.
Okay.
And even at 19, I still struggled and tried to find a balance and all that. But as I got older and began to look at her, and it's like, okay, I need to give her something more.
Mm-hmm.
I need to show what a positive woman looks like. Has that been easy? Absolutely not. I'm still on the journey to show her better.
Right.
She will be 30, but she's still my motivation. She's still my reason why I do what I do.
Right. So you say you left school in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
So what was life like when you left school? What did you do? Did you go to work? What did you do?
Did I work? Oh, I worked, I partied, and then when you're in high school, you're so in love. And that was with, the baby's daddy. You're so in love and you're gonna do what he does and you're gonna go where he goes. I mean, I ran away, I've done it all.
So was he like a hustler type of dude?
Yeah. And even within that, subconsciously, I didn't even know with my father, because my father was a hustler.
Right.
Consciously, I was looking for that person to be like my father.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was attracted to. Not so much attracted to, but that's what was in the area. Basically, that's what was in Harlem.
Yeah. In that area, absolutely. So how did you get back on your feet far as education wise, being that you left school early?
Separating myself, moving away from King Towers. At that point, I think I was, I'd say 26, somewhere 25 and up. I moved away. I transferred to another projects on 89th Street.
Mm.
Then I enrolled into a training program. And I got an administrative assistant, certificate from there.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I didn't look at it as, okay, I'm going here just to learn this. I always took the extra step. I was always on time.
Mm-hmm.
And me to do certain things, but when they asked who would do this, I was always like, I'll do it.
Right.
So once I finished with the program, a position opened for administrative assistant, and guess who they asked?
They asked you.
Right.
The one who kept waiting.
Right. And yes, we want the money, but sometimes it's not always about the money. You have to learn the skills. When you learning and your gift will take you wherever you want to go. So I just volunteered for everything they asked me to do.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. So you had I believe it was a clothing line called Swag, right?
Yes. So that is absolutely.
How is that doing?
That's fine. That's Harlem Girls Inc., which I co-founded with my business partner, Elaine Sanders. So now I just branched off and I have my insight coaching, which I just added. I went got to learn coaching, got the certificate for that. And the reason behind my education and keep educating myself is to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that everything that I will, so I use what I've gone through to reach back to tell young girls, young boys, yes, you can do it too. It's never about where you started at,
Mm-hmm.
line that you're looking at. So for me, I had to think about how can I bridge the gap from how I started and where I was at to where I want to go.
All right, so tell everybody what are you involved in right now? What are you doing with, as far as your
So right,
programs and stuff like that?
so right now, with Harlem Girls Inc., we're actually working on our 4th book, which is called Stepping Into Your Purpose, Stepping Into My Purpose. So that's another book that's going to be co-authored with these fabulous other women that we interact with. So that's on the Harlem Girls Inc. side. Even on that side, we're still doing empowerment workshops, writing workshops to help people write, become self-aware of what they want to do in life. And for the other side, my insight coaching, that's for me to help people come to their awareness within themselves. We all have something in ourselves that makes us great. However, we're not always given the proper tools to figure that out.
Mm.
So it's about bringing awareness and helping people become the best version of themselves. And sometimes we just need those tools to get there.
Yeah. So you have like a location and stuff like that where people come?
Where pretty much now everything is through Zoom because of
Yeah,
COVID.
right.
So which is good because you kind of get more people, and I don't have a brick and mortar. So Zoom is the way to go now. Zoom and live calls and Vimo, those things are very helpful. Those things are helpful.
What's the age range that you are dealing with?
Well, the age range starts at 13 and up.
Mm-hmm.
That preteen age, we want to do our own thing. We get lost. I've been there. You've been there.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to kind of our way through. And I often teach them, for me, I don't believe in failure. There's no failure. There's just an opportunity to improve.
Mm-hmm.
That's what failure means to me.
Right.
I didn't get it right, but I can figure out how to navigate and make it right now. Or be creative and working on something, and your plan didn't go right the first time. It doesn't mean you do away with the plan. It just means you revamp the plan. And also with coaching, I get a lot of relationship questions. So that's another thing I touch upon. And one of the biggest things I hear people come when they want to be coached is love. What is love? How do I navigate through love? And one thing that I tell people is love is a function of the soul, not the person. I recently did a post, can you be in love with 2 people at the same time? I didn't hear you.
I think so.
You're breaking up and you're generating.
Well, I see you clearly, but I think you could be in love with 2 people at the same time.
Absolutely, because love is an emotion that can be experienced at any given time with any person under the right circumstances.
Right.
But when you're not taught that and you wind up in that situation, excuse me, the person often begins to take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not personal. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It's simply that your partner has connected with somebody else mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a reflection. So sometimes we take it personal as, oh, he doesn't love me anymore. Or no, he just connected with somebody else. Now, the thing with being in love with 2 people at the same time is that you have to let everybody know. That's where it gets a little murky, because it's not for one person to decide for the other person if they want to be in that triangular relationship.
You say lay all the cards on the table and let them decide if they want to be in it or not.
Absolutely. You should never take the choice away from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
just because that's what you want to do. So
Right.
everybody in have the choice to say, okay, I want to be in this relationship, or no, this is too much for me.
Right. Because what I'm saying is like, you could be in love with two people at the same time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be with both of them. You could be with that one, but you connected with that other one, and y'all can have like a great friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's just that.
It's just
But
that.
y'all connect real good. But y'all
And,
understand the boundaries and stuff like that.
right. And there's no lines that are crossed.
Right.
So you begin to respect yourself and respect the people involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, you can be in love with somebody and not be with them, because here's the thing. Maybe it's just you connected on that level, and that can be a friend for life.
Exactly.
That can be your friend for life.
Right. Everything
But
doesn't
like,
have to be sexual.
absolutely, and that's the thing I think people get, because after a while the sexual part will fade. So your
Mm-hmm.
relationship should never be just based on the sexual aspect of it.
Right.
There's a certain level of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Trust. There has to be communication. There has to be honesty.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that come into play in a relationship, but one of the most importantly is communication.
Mm-hmm.
Us as people, we have to learn to communicate. And I'll say, perfect example for me, this is one of the areas I had to grow in. I would be upset and mad, like, oh, he this and he that. Fool, you ain't telling what's wrong with you. He's
Mm-hmm.
not a reader. So why, I would literally be livid. And he just going on with his life. And I'm like, he don't know I'm mad. You didn't tell him. So that's the other thing in relationships. We have to ask for what we want.
Right.
Neither one of us, or no two people, nobody on this earth can read minds.
Right.
So we have to be clear in our relationships what we want, what we expect, what we will tolerate, what we won't tolerate, what we will accommodate.
Right.
So those are just some that going into a relationship that needs to be laid on the table.
So you get more questions about relationships or questions about growing up?
Well, more so the teenage years
Mm-hmm.
is growing in school in that aspect. I would say the 25 and up is more about relationships, and it's just not male female, it's
Mm-hmm.
sibling, it's
Mm-hmm.
mother relationships. You know, for me, I'm still working on my relationship with my daughter, because again, I stated I was a young mother, and I
Right.
explained to before everything. I thought I did,
Mm-hmm.
but I was clueless. So even now, I think relationships have to evolve and be worked on. And the only way that can happen is through communication.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, we're accountable for what we know and what we don't know. We have to be accountable for what we did and what we didn't do, and
Right.
stand in our truth.
Yeah, that's a powerful word, accountability.
Yeah, and it's not always easy. It's pretty tough, because accountability causes us to look in the mirror and really look at ourselves and see who we are, and
Mm-hmm.
see the parts and the good parts. And I tell people all the time, I'm made up of broken pieces. They're
Right.
just put together,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So accountability, and it wasn't easy getting to that part. Because, you know, for us, I can say for me, I won't talk about anybody else. It's, oh, that person this, that person that. And it's like, no, you kind of got some issues too. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until I was able to stand in my truth and confront those issues and even write about them in the first book, Moving Forward from Broken to Beautiful, that I had to say, you're pretty jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Was it necessary? Absolutely.
So what's the comparison between people that got married back in the days, like our parents? I mean, not
Mm-hmm.
saying that yours did or mine did, but that era opposed to this generation getting married. What's the comparison?
Hmm.
What's your professional
Okay.
opinion on that?
I've never been married, so I would say back then it was more of morals and values, and people understood why they were getting married, had solid foundations why they were getting married. And our ancestors, some of them, they had to get married because it was designed that way. It was already planned out. They didn't. But I think for now, again, me stating disclaimer, I've never been married, so I'm not the expert in this area.
Right.
That's my personal opinion.
Right.
Now there's no honor in marriage. It's just something to do. I can do it and get divorced.
Right.
When I don't think, just my personal opinion, you should think about getting married with the ends of divorcing at the finish line.
Yes.
That's something that's, and now everything is just so loose and free now.
Yeah.
A lot of people operate with no boundaries, no guidelines, no morals, no values, very loosely. Like, okay, I get married. Oh, all right, it didn't work out, divorce, without even trying to work it out or put the effort in to work it out.
Right.
And so I've interacted with some people and spoke to some people to realize they weren't even ready to get married. It was the idea of being married.
So how you feel about people who marry for money? Meaning they marry this person because they got money. Whether it's the male or the female.
Right, but some people do marry for stability. Now, however, if the two people going into that know that and they're in agreement with it, that's fine. And I think a big part is society has created so many norms that we think we have to live our way towards. For me, basically what I say, a relationship should be between you and that person. And whatever you and that person feel as though works for y'all, not what society says. It's what the two people feel as though, okay, this is what we're going to do in our marriage. This is what works for us. And the outside forces really don't matter. They're in agreement. So if two people come together for stability, that's their thing. It's really not my business. It's nobody else's business. If that's what works for them, that's what works for them.
So how you feel about today's society? Everybody's quick to want to go get surgery now.
Oh,
man, I just want your opinion. So everybody's running to get surgery. And I'm not talking about the older women who had kids already and, Matt had 2 or 3 kids. And, the only way to really get that back right is to get surgery because the kids done beat that area up. You know what I'm saying? It happens. I'm talking about these young girls getting surgery because their butt might not be big enough or their breast might not be big enough. Or, they just think that they following the trend. So they just running to go get surgeries. Like the surgery is like the thing to do. You save your money, your income tax money, get a couple $, and you go get that body. How do you feel about these young girls? It's like a fad going on right now, for real.
Yeah, my opinion is that, and I think social media has a lot to do with that and plays a lot into that. But the thing with that is it's a lot of pretending on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever the case may be, whatever the platform. However, with pretending, it requires a lot of work. That's why actresses get paid a lot of money to do it. But in society now, with social media and everything being so real, what happens is now in real life, when people pretend, they're allowing someone to give them a script to play out and to live. So you people that don't edify your life in any shape, form, or fashion. They have given you this script and you say, okay, I'm going to live it out. This is the part I'm going to play. But people don't see it that way. That's just my opinion. But that's what social media does. It's not all bad. Depends on what you use it for. Like I said, the eye is the gate. So sometimes it can be a self-esteem issue. have to alter what God has created you to be, because now it's a competition. And it goes deeper than the surface. It's self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
And if you have self-esteem issues and your daddy was never there and you never had mother, father, whomever it may be, pour into you and tell you to value yourself, you're good the way you are, to speak into yourself. Once you see all these things and you start getting the breast implants and the butt implants, and they see this is what men are going for, okay, so this is what I need to attract a man. So they go and get into it. That's just my opinion.
I mean, and you're entitled to your opinion. But I believe what you say, it is self-esteem issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That you have to alter who you are.
Right.
Not speaking in terms of somebody that's been in a tragic accident, like you said at the beginning, or
Right.
was 500 pounds and now they're 100 pounds and have to get rid of the excess skin and stuff like that. That's something different. But and it just doesn't come across in alterations of the body.
Right.
It can be acting out.
Because all the women seem to think if you got, excuse me, a big butt, a little waist, and some nice breasts, you win. What about this? What about this?
Yeah, but and that's the thing. If you're okay, so if everybody's hanging around the same people and nobody's doing anything different, who can teach who?
Right.
For me, like I never want to be the smartest person in the room, because that doesn't help me. I don't get to learn. I don't get to go to the next level. I don't get to grow if I'm the smartest person in the room.
Right.
And all that, like I said, if everybody's doing the same thing, who can help who? And what people don't realize, your elevation requires your separation. And back to what we were talking about at the top, it's not until you sit down and do that self-awareness check and evaluate who you are and who you want to become, then the light switch goes off. But if that switch goes off, guess what? You're on a hamster wheel. You're in a repetitive cycle, doing the same thing over and over around the same people that deem this is it, this is how we're going to live, and this is the know all and be all. And they're not thinking about this or thinking with this.
Right.
So back to it goes back to self-esteem, who a lot of people don't know who they are. And once you can operate and navigate in your own lane, and you don't care what the forces say, you don't care what outside people say, because you're operating in your God's given talent, you're operating in your gift. And the truth of the matter is, everybody's not going to like you.
Right.
And it's okay.
And you find that a lot in this generation, more so than when we grew up. Because let me tell you,
absolutely,
the same things that's going on now, kind of, sort of, went on back in the days in a different style, as far as women and men, body-wise and all that. Why now do you have to go get surgery when the women back in the days, they had money too? They just fixed up what they had. They went to the gym, they worked out, and they rocked on what they had. Now all these young girls just want to get surgery. They got to be self-esteem. Crazy.
Yeah, and they see it as a quick fix. But again, if they don't have somebody to pour into them to help them see their self-worth, it's going to continue to happen. And then I think there are a lot of young parents. Now we have grandparents at 35, 40. So if they weren't taught, of course they can't teach them. So it's just generational curses that continue to go on and to go on. So it's just something.
No, go ahead, continue.
No, I'm just saying it's just something that has to be taught. But even within that, the person has to be willing and able to say, I have this issue. I'm ready to deal with this issue. That's where change can take place.
Yeah. So when people reach out to you, what do they reach out to you for? Like, what's one of the biggest things somebody reached out to and you helped to, like, turn their life around?
I would say pretty much self-awareness, figuring out who they are and their purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
They're tired of going in the same circle and working dead-end jobs. And I can speak to that personally and professionally because I'm grateful for my job. Been there 19 and a half years, but that's not my passion,
Right,
not
right,
my
right.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured out later on in life that my purpose and my passion is to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So up and speak on a panel, I would get up and empower, I would get up and teach whether I was getting paid or not.
Right.
Because what for me is to help somebody get to their next level, to help them to figure out how to bridge, to build that personal bridge so they can get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So that's things. People not knowing who they are and what their purpose in life.
Mm. So if people want to reach out to you and talk to you, how do they do that?
Well, they can email me at my my site coaching at website, my insight. When people reach out, there's a 30-minute complimentary consultation to see if we're a good fit,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't coach everybody. So within that 30 minutes, we sit there and we talk and we figure out if we're a good fit for each other
Right.
to move along the next step. And even
Right.
within homework, it's even within coaching, there's homework, there's assignments that's done. So it's just not sitting there talking. There's assignments that's done that have to be brought to the next section to see, okay, did you get stuck here? What boundaries got in your way from stopping you from getting to your goal, what you wanted to achieve this week?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about talking. No, we're going to talk. We're going to figure out some strategies, the plan you want for your life, the goal, which way you want to go, your purpose. And it's basically coaching is really whatever the client wants. Sometimes a client will come in and they'll name 10 different things in one session.
Mm.
That we can only tackle one at a time.
Right.
For me, it's not for me to decide what they want to address first. I ask them, what would you like to handle first?
Mm.
So it's down a tree, one step
Right.
at a time, one step at a time.
Mm.
So that's what it is.
So they have to be
And it should
accountable
bring
for
it,
what they talk to you about, pretty much, by the assignments and
absolutely.
stuff
And
like that.
absolutely. And even within that, being accountable for their assignments, they have to have somebody to hold them accountable to what they want to do,
Right.
which keeps them on the straight and narrow. So yes, they
Mm-hmm.
have to be accountable to themselves, and there has to be someone else to hold them accountable to what they said they were going to do.
So how long have you been doing this so far?
It's funny because I just started the coaching for, I say, a month now.
Mm-hmm.
However, as an empowerment specialist, that's more empowering and encouraging. So the difference between the two is when you're empowering me, I will figure out the resources. I'll tell you what to do. Let's do this. No, you need to do this next. This is the first step. This is the second step. This is the third step. However, with coaching, I don't do that. It's up to the person to figure out for themselves.
Mm.
Again, what's already in them. I'm just helping you figure out what's already in you.
Mm.
Guide you. I'm not going to tell you the first step. I'm not going to tell you the second step. I'm not going to tell you the third step. That's for the client to figure out themselves. Like I said, on the flip side, the empowerment is you need to do this, you need to do that.
Right.
So different dynamic of empowering, even therapy. Some people come, I'll have a consultation, and I'll sit there and listen to them. And it's like, you have to be referred out. You need a therapist.
Mm.
I'm not a therapist.
Right.
Because therapy deals with past behaviors and issues.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching is about moving somebody forward and helping them to where they want to go. So
Right.
when I'm not the person, you need a therapist. Now, also on my website, I do have a resource page with therapists on there.
Right.
So I do have other contact information on there if it's something that's out of my lane.
Mm.
Because as coaching, a therapist, a doctor, whatever you may be, you never want to client or a patient and act like you can help them when you really can't.
Right.
The best thing you can do them is to refer them to someone that can help them. So I don't have a problem with, no, you need a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I can't help you.
Right.
So that's one of the things I do. And that can be figured out within the first 30 minutes.
So you mentioned something about a book, right? Didn't you mention something about a book earlier?
Yes, I mentioned stepping into your purpose.
Right.
And that's this book, I believe, there's 6 of us on there. And it's a different kind of twist on it because even within it is going to be poetry that leads into the story. So we have some poetry at this point with the story. And as you know, our books, we don't write just to write. They're all self-help books. And we don't write with the purpose, oh, we're trying to be on the New York Times bestseller. We write with the intent. If my story reaches one person, my job is done.
Right.
So that's why I tell my stories. If I reach one person, guess what? My job is done.
So you say it's 6 of you. Is that the young ladies I met before?
No, there's 3 new ones.
Okay.
No, yes, 4 new ones actually. There's
so
4
everybody has a chapter?
Yes. It's the same structure like the other books. Of course, everybody's story is different, but structure, everybody's story, they write from their perspective. And even talking to one, it was funny because one of my friends, she knew from the age of 9 that she wanted to be a teacher. And she's a teacher today. Now, I just shared with you early on, I didn't know what my purpose was until later on in life. So there's, so her story will connect with other people's and mine will connect with other people.
Right.
So we're pushing for March, which is Women's Month. So let's see how that goes. And hopefully we'll be out of, I doubt it, this situation, but let's see what happens.
I don't see it.
I don't think. Neither do I.
But we gotta keep it working, you know?
We still have to work. Yeah.
Still gotta work.
So we're still working.
Yeah. No, like I said, we still gotta keep working.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because this won't be forever.
Nah, it won't. We just don't know when.
But as long as we're being productive while we're in it, because now we have time. There's no excuse for anybody to say, I don't have time to do anything. We have time. Like you said, you sitting watching Netflix. Why are you watching Netflix or planning your next move? Exactly. So there's a lot to be productive.
Very productive. So let's talk about the Black Lives Matter situation real quick. How does that intertwine with what you're doing? As far as the coaching stuff.
As far as the culture?
No, the coaching, your coaching. How does the Black Lives Matter tie into that? With the youth?
Some clients, and not even just clients, just friends have Black sons, and we're Black. So it does affect all of us tremendously. And some of them, I just look at the TV and I'm in tears. To think that so-called come so far, but it's still going on.
Right.
So again, thank God for social media in this day and age, because now we can see it. For me personally, I don't think racism have ever stopped.
Right.
But now that person that was there for 4 years was like giving people a license to be out and out racist and say what they want to say, which will cause a problem because we're not going back to the way things was. It's a different era. It's a different time. It's a different breed of people.
Right.
So will never come back the way that it was.
Right.
Because we're enlightened now. We know, and not by any means necessary. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it affects all of us, which is sad, especially for me. I have nephews, you know, I have brothers, I have you out there.
Yeah.
And to think, you know, anything at any given time, something can happen to one of you just because you're black is
Yeah.
unfathomable. And even for us as women,
Yeah.
even for us as women, I get pulled over just because.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, are you
But
serious?
there's we had the issue with the Black Lives Matter movement for us the guys, but the last I mean, it's been going on for a long time, but a lot of women are getting snatched.
Yeah, and that's why
Talk
I
about
said
that.
just for
Women are
us.
getting snatched and not being seen no more. Getting snatched, thrown in the van. I've been hearing about this for the last couple of weeks. 2 people that I know told me that they almost got snatched. Broad daylight. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Friend of
Wow.
mine told me they was outside going to the store 12 in the afternoon. A guy jumped out, grabbed her on the arm and said, "You coming with me?" She said, "No, I'm not." He said,
Oh,
"Yes, you
Lord.
are." She said, "No, I'm not." The people on the block that know her was like, "You all right?" She's like, "I don't know this MF." Then they
Right.
got up and came towards her. Dude ran. They watched him run down the block and jumped into a van with all the windows covered and sped off. I said, "What?"
And this is in Harlem?
This was in Washington Heights.
My
But it's
God.
it's still going on everywhere. They
Oh,
snatching y'all. So they're young girls, y'all be careful out there because this is a rough day and time with this COVID and all this Black Lives Matter stuff. They're snatching women.
and it's even scarier now because now it's not that many people outside.
And they got masks on.
So
So
how
all
can
you can see is this. And they've got a hoodie on with a hat. You don't know what it is.
yeah, and it's funny because I've always made a habit of, and I do it to this day, I don't walk against traffic. So if traffic is coming this way down the block, I'm
Yeah.
coming this way. Because I need to see what's going on. I'm coming this way and I'm walking
Yeah,
this
yeah.
way.
You don't need your back turned.
I can't see anything. So I'm always this way, and I tell my daughter, walk that way if the cars is coming this way. At least
Yeah.
that way you can, like, what's
It's
going, you
real.
can see what's going on. And, like, it's scary.
Pache is real. It ain't just in the movies.
Right.
Like Taken, like that movie called Taken and all that stuff. It ain't just in the movies. They doing that. They doing that. And they're not just doing little kids. They doing women. They grabbing them.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
the scary time that we're living in.
Yeah.
However, stay prayed up.
Somebody told me this is like prime time for criminals. Because of the mask and all that. You got a license to wear a mask right now. You know, you're supposed to wear a mask now.
And it's
Before
funny.
you covered your face, you know, they pull you over. Hey, now they can't pull you over.
This is true. And it's funny because I was teaching the other day and I had asked the students, what do you have in common with a criminal? And they was thinking like, I don't know what you mean. I said preparation.
Mm-hmm.
The same way we go to parties, we can prepare to cook. We get those ingredients together. We get all these things together. Guess what that crook does? That criminal is preparing to go out and rob.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they can prepare. Why you can't prepare to get your life in order?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's they prepare to do these things, which is very scary.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
We really have to be careful. We really have to be careful out here, especially it's getting dark early now too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see when COVID first came in. I mean, it was before April, but it really got the awareness got up in April, so it was light. Now as we in the winter season with it, where it's getting dark early. Now it's dark. You got the mask on. Everything is closed, so you really have nobody. You know, you could be on the block and you know you can have a situation. So you got to be on point.
That's
Seriously.
one of the things I'm grateful for my hood training. My antennas are always up.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You always need that.
Even where I live at now is suburbs, but I'm still like, they were like, girl, what's wrong with you?
You
Nothing.
need that. Yeah.
I'm alert. So that's one thing I thank God for hood training.
And you know what about hood training? I used to work for this advertisement company. And the president of the company told me, he's like, Vern, he's like, you know, you got something that I don't have. I'm like, what the hell is this dude talking about? This dude's a multi-millionaire. He says,
Right.
you have street knowledge. He said, that's something you can't get from a book. I looked at him.
Right.
I said, damn, you know what? He's right. He said, something I wish I always had. He said, when I'm in the street, I don't know what the hell is going on.
And that's why I said you don't despise where you come from.
Right.
Because it has taught me a lot. And the same thing he said, a lot of people can have a lot of books and smarts but no common sense.
Yes.
So certain things being hood trained, we be like, that don't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
That don't look right.
Yep.
I'm not going for that. That don't even make sense.
Real quick.
So for me, I be like, no, nah. They be like, why you? I said, it's ingrained in me. So my so always up with.
Always. Yeah.
I could be in the supermarket and I'm
Yep.
looking at people.
All the time. All the time.
Yep.
Ain't playing no games with nobody. No time. Okay, where I'm at.
Yep. Stay on your cues.
Hey, so if people wanted to get at you, where could they find you? Because this was a great conversation we had today, you know?
But thanks again for having me on and always giving me a platform to speak.
Anytime.
I appreciate it. So
yes.
like I said, they can email my site, regular site, SIGHT, coaching.com. That's the website. And then it's my site, coaching@gmail.
And what about your IG?
My IG is my Insight Coaching, and then my regular, I post in both places. So it's my regular P Felton 113. The other one is my Insight Coaching.
Okay, there you go. So there you have it.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. Again,
yeah, we spoke on some great stuff, some good topics, you know, that people need to pay attention to.
Right.
And I want y'all to follow this young lady right here, because she's all about giving back and helping people in the community. And, you know, I wish you all the best with what you're doing. All the support in the world.
And likewise, because you have a plethora of things going on as well.
Oh, absolutely. More to come, too.
All righty.
That's why I'm always home. I ain't got time to be running the streets. I'm working.
And stop watching Netflix.
Not even doing that. I have it, but I'm not even watching it.
I'm messing with you.
I know you are.
All right.
Good to see you, and we definitely going to talk soon.
All right. Likewise.
Enjoy your day.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.